Yeah, Coach, with Don Chaney Jr., didn't get a chance to see him in the spring. Just how's he doing? How does he look to you? Is he physically?
He looks really good, and he looks healthy. Yeah, to your point, I didn't get to really see him do anything in the spring, but he's a big kid. He runs downhill. He's big. He's explosive, and so far, I think for a young guy, he's picking things up really well. Coach Hickson's doing a nice job with him. So really, really excited about his first week so far.
We just found out about the scrimmage tomorrow, and I wanted to know. I asked Blake Baker, what are you looking for in particular, and how are you going to set it up this time? What's the way it's going to be run?
Yeah, obviously this is my first scrimmage here. Coach Diaz will be running it, I believe, like he's run all the preseason scrimmages in the past. And
right.
To me, it's just a great opportunity after a week of work, just to kind of see how guys are. I mean, practice is one thing. Even when we do some scrimmage type things in practice or some move the ball situations, you find out a little more about guys. But when there's down and distance, there's officials, there's time on the clock, and it's just a little more of a game-like situation. I'm just excited to see how our guys respond. Who knows what to do, who plays extremely hard, who's physical, and who can take all the work they've done over the last week and in that moment, just play the next play and play like they do every day in practice. So it'll be good for us as coaches to get a lot of information from our guys. Offensively, weekend we're gonna just do what we do and try to play fast and try to do the things we've done and like I said, see how our guys respond and see kind of where we are, about 3.5 weeks out before our first game.
And Coach, my follow is, how has Brevin Jordan adjusted after being out for so long? What's the approach you take as a coach with someone who's been injured and missed playing time in many months, as someone as talented as he is?
Yeah, well, I think the good news is, our training staff and our doctors have done a great job getting him back. And so it's not like he was cleared the day before camp started. He's been cleared for a while now and been working out with the team over the summer. And Coach Field's done a nice job. He knows Brevin. They have a good relationship, so he knows him in terms of, what he can handle and what kind of load. And we've not really held anything back. He's gone out and he's practiced. And, he's just like the rest of our guys. You kind of got to play your way into shape the first week of fall camp, and especially for someone like him who hasn't played in so long. He's done really well. He's held up nicely, and I think, it's really important to him that he can stay healthy and stay on the field this year.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering if you had any anecdotes from camp or maybe even earlier from working with D'Eriq, any moments that just made you say, boy, he's going to be really special in my offense, or do you ever find yourself like maybe daydreaming of the possibilities with him?
Honestly, that's a good question. No, I mean, it's every day we're coming to work trying to get better. I mean, it's a major process when any year you're trying to prepare for your first game. And especially in a year like this, it's so unique. And then new staff, new offense on our side of the ball. We're just trying to get our guys to all be on the same page, to play hard, to play fast, to be a physical team, to play together, to know what to do. We're trying to teach them, the techniques and the fundamentals we want them to do. And so we just come to work every day. We don't have any time to daydream. We're just trying to get a first down right now. And so, I do like the camaraderie of our guys on offense. I think they're buying into what the coaches are asking them to do in our offense. And, I just think that they're fully committed. And so now it's a process. And we've got, a little under 4 weeks now to get ready to play that first game.
And what about just with D'Eriq? Is there what are your impressions from the first week of camp, him working at quarterback?
He's been well. He's been solid. Very similar to the first 4 days in the spring. I think he's getting very comfortable with what we're doing. Just as importantly, comfortable with the guys out there, receiver, running back, tight end, the O-line, and there's something to gelling and everybody playing together and being on the same page. And it's one thing to know what to do. It's one thing when everybody can kind of be on the same page and play well together. So that's a big part of camp. That's when you get your timing and your rhythm and just your continuity down. But he's been good. You never know until you get in games what guys are going to be like. But he's been steady, and as a lot of other guys have been. So I've been pleased with where we are this first week.
I just want to ask you about D'Eriq as well, and just get your thoughts on, you've been around him even more now since the last time we talked, just his arm talent and ability as a passer? Because, you know, we all know he can run around pretty well. He's an athletic guy, but, you know, he's also kind of smaller in stature, obviously. And so there might be some questions about his ability as a passer or thrower. And just what would you say in regards to his ability that way?
Yeah, David, that's a good question. He can throw the football. He's a quarterback, you know, and I think that it takes years sometimes for certain stereotypes to leave. You look at the NFL draft the last couple of years, some of the guys that have been taken first overall, Kyler Murray's and Baker Mayfield's, and there's some other guys. You know, look at what Russell Wilson's done for years now, Drew Brees, what he's done for years. I think height is something that, you know, everybody looks for when they're recruiting or drafting quarterbacks, but it's not the end-all be-all. You know, are they tough? Can they lead? Can they make all the throws? He can certainly make all the throws. You know, I think he's shown so far in a week that he's a very good passer. So, yeah, I think sometimes when a quarterback can run, that's something that maybe differentiates himself from other guys who can't. And so we get so focused on, oh, he can run, you know, but that's obviously an added strength to his game. But he's a quarterback. He's not an athlete playing quarterback. He's a quarterback that's athletic.
Hi, Rhett. A couple of other quarterback questions. Does Perry, in your mind, even have a slight edge for the number 2 job, or is that totally wide open? And with regard to Martell, is he working only at quarterback? And if so, how has he looked?
Good questions, Barry. Yeah, definitely wide open for that number 2 spot. Nkosi, Tate, Tyler Van Dyke, those guys have been splitting the majority of those 2 reps, and they've been competing hard, you know, ever since we went ahead and announced De'Eric as the starter. All 3 of those guys knew where they stood and that they were going to get an opportunity to compete to be that guy. I think, you know, tomorrow will be, you know, one of their big job interviews for that. You know, it's almost like a preseason game for us, you know, and so it's the first time to see how they handle just a real game situation, how they handle, you know, a lot of times how they handle bad things. When something bad happens, what's the next couple of plays look like? I mean, you've got to have a pretty short memory at quarterback, and how do they lead? How do they move the team? And ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, to me, the greatest measure of a quarterback is their offense putting the ball in the end zone and scoring points. And so I think all 3 of those guys get a great opportunity tomorrow. They've all 3 done some really good things. I couldn't tell you anybody's got an edge right now. You know, there's the 2 older guys who've been here, and then there's the young guy, and he's doing really well too. So excited to see how those guys respond tomorrow as well.
What are some of what's the next jump you foresee or looking for in Will Mallory's game?
You know, for me, everything's new. I don't know a whole lot about maybe the past, but I think Will's really developed into a really good all-around player in the first week I've been here. You know, I like versatile tight ends. We like to use those guys, and I think it helps us with our tempo and our versatility with the tempo. And Will's a big, long-rangey guy. He can catch the football. He's shown so far to be a very solid blocker, in my opinion. But so far, the word I would use to describe Will is just consistent. You know, he's a pretty reliable guy. I think he's a really savvy guy from a football instinct standpoint. And so I think he's very important to our offense, and I look and really expect for him to have a solid season for us.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to touch on the O-line. Has there been any emergence of a group of 5, a lineup that you like, or you know, has anyone stood? I know you guys have been mixing and matching, so have you found a combination that you like?
You know, I think we've got a lot of good information, and I think tomorrow is kind of maybe even a bigger deal for the O-line than I know y'all asked about, kind of that number 2 quarterback spot. But simply because we have such a short amount of time this year, I think after tomorrow, you know, Coach Justice and I will have to sit down and try to your point, put those guys and stop moving people around, put them where we think they should be. I think we have a pretty good idea. I've been pleased with their progress. You know, I think they're getting more physical. I think they're starting to get more comfortable in what we're doing. I know they love Coach Justice and what he brings to that room. We've seen a lot of guys flash again. It'll be good to see, you know, how they do tomorrow when it's more of a game-like situation, because the good thing is we say here, I mean, they're going up against a really good defensive front every day in practice. And so that only makes you better. I'm not going to single anybody out right now. I know you'd love me to, but I have been pleased with their process or their progress through the process. And, you know, I think after tomorrow, we'll have a pretty good idea about 3.5 weeks out, kind of how we're probably going to go into that first game.